had a message of a bird telling you to run, do you think you'd listen? I think I would. I'm going to get into the story today, my spooky pickles. Yes, I mentioned in the last video, because I filmed back to back because time, work, kids, you know. My lovely mum bought me a stand, but I have to set it up and I don't want to break it. And I don't have time to read instructions right now. So hopefully this will be the last video where you see me shaking about, holding the camera phone, you know. Let's not buy me a camera, but I don't think I'm that popular. So, yeah. Hopefully the last shaky video you're going to get. This story today, oh, I'm so annoyed because I can't find the author. I came across it in a lovely book. I say lovely, it's lovely to me because I'm weird. Of like fairy tales and folklore that my friend got me a while ago for my birthday. Because obviously she's my friend and she knows me. I like weird stuff. And it's got lots of different folklore and tales and stuff. And this one I couldn't find the author for. Some is the Brothers Grimm. Some is Charles Perrault. But yeah, some are just, there's no author there. And I looked it up, I can't find it, so I'm sorry. But the story's good, so I'm going to get straight into it. It's called The Robert Bridegroom. And sort of, yeah, that's what it says on the tin, but a bit dark. It's quite dark, this one actually, pickles. And I'm saying that it gets a bit dark. It gets a bit morbid. That's probably why I like it. I'm weird, aren't I? Yeah. You're not all gathered that yet. Sorry, this is pretty, but it's hurting my head now. I have no tolerance for having things on my head. Don't you appreciate this? I'm trying. I know I don't look amazing, but I try for you guys to not look like a old potato. So, there was a miller, and he had a daughter. And of course, he wanted the best for her, and he wanted her to marry well, because in those days, that's the only way to really look after your daughter if you've not got like an amazing career and loads of money. So, he was open to suitors coming and asking for a hand. And one day, a very wealthy looking gentleman comes to the house and asks to meet her and says, you know, I want to be considered to be her betrothed. Father meets him. He doesn't see any issues. Think, oh, he seems rather polite and well groomed, and he looks quite well off. You know, he's quite polite. He's saying and doing all the right things. But his daughter, you never get her name, by the way, so it's just the daughter. When she meets him, she's like, I'm not sure. And then also it says when she's told she's to be betrothed to him, she feels a sense of horror. But it doesn't mention anything to do with his looks. So he says he looks well dressed and groomed. So I'm going to assume he looks quite nice, quite handsome, quite well dressed, quite well put together. So to get the feeling of just one or two conversations with someone, to get a feeling of horror and dread, your gut's got to be telling you something. But I think the dad was just seeing the dollar bills, as it were, and thinking, oh, my daughter's going to be well taken care of if she's with this gentleman, because he looks very well put together and very smart, and he looks like he has money. Sorry. I'm getting a sore throat, so you're going to have to bear with me. So he comes to visit her a few times, and she still can't shake this feeling of horror. Those are the words. I've got my notes and everything. I'm prepared, though. I tried to memorise them so I don't have to keep looking for you. Because it's not that long of a story, but it'll be long because it's me and a ramble, sorry. Not that sorry, because you're clearly all there and enjoying it, so I hope you are. So yeah, it keeps coming, and one day he says to her, oh, you haven't come to visit me yet one day. Why haven't you been? And she says, well, I don't know where you live. So it's a bit of a stupid question of him to ask, really, if he's not told her where he lives and offered to take her. Why would she visit you? Just develop psychic abilities to know where your house is. So she says, yeah, I don't know where you live, mate. How am I supposed to come see you? And he says, okay, I'll come next Sunday. I'll have visitors and prepare everything ready for your visit. It'll be a lovely day. She's right, okay. And instead of offering to come and get her on like a horse and carriage, or even just a horse, or send someone for her, no. He says, I live in the dark woods. Which is already pretty freaking ominous, isn't it? Single guy living in the dark woods. Not even the woods. I'm like, oh, just pass this way. In the dark woods. We all know what that means in a fairy tale, don't we? So, she's like, okay. So now he's not going to send a horse for her. He's not going to pick her up himself. He says, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to leave a trail of ashes. Ashes. Not even like Hansel and Gretel. Like pebbles or breadcrumbs. No. He's going to leave a trail of ashes. I don't know about you, my spooky pickles, but if someone told me to follow a trail of ashes into dark woods to meet a guy I have a bad feeling about, that I'm betrothed to, but I have a feeling of horror about, I don't think I'd do it. I think I'd be like, nah. I'd be like, Dad, no, thank you. Please don't make me do this. But she does. She does. I don't know why she's not listening to her gut. Listen to your gut. Listen to that little voice inside your head that's saying danger. She doesn't know. I think she just sort of wants to please her dad, so she does it. So the Sunday comes. She goes to the edge of the dark forest, not even the forest. Jesus Christ. And she spots the trail of ashes, so she's like, okay, well, he did it, so I'm just going to follow it. And she's thinking it's going to be a few minutes walk. No. No. And this should be the other red flag among the multiple that have already happened. It's not even a quick walk. It's like a full day's walk through the dark forest alone, following a trail of ashes. Don't know what people need to be told. Just, so many red flags waving in the face. Going, no, run. She doesn't. She goes, and in the middle of the dark forest, she spots a solitary dark house. It's not even like a cute little village community. No, just one dark house in the middle of the dark forest. Can we sense the ominous presence, Pickles? Can we sense it? Do we think it's going to be anything good that's going to happen right now? Me neither. So, as she's about to go into the house, which I don't know why, because it looks dark and uninviting. Don't look like there are any guests there. Don't look like he's there to greet her and expect her, which would be the gentlemanly thing. But no. It looks all dark, but she's about to go into the doorway and knock on and just see what's going on. And she hears a voice. I'm going to look at my quotes to make sure I say this right. Hang on. The voice says, turn back, young maiden. Dear, this is the murder house. You enter here. So yeah, so she looks around and she doesn't see where the voice is coming from. So she walks inside. Disappointed. Why? So then she goes in the house and it's dark and empty. And again she hears the voice. Turn back, young maiden dear. This is the murder house. You enter here. I would not need to be told twice. I would be liking it right back. And I don't care what I'd need to say to my dear old daddy. Nah. But she doesn't. Instead she looks around and she looks up and she sees a bird in a cage. It doesn't say what kind of bird. But I'm just going to assume it's like a crow or a raven because they can talk. Especially in fairy tales. And it's a bad omen, really. Because it is. And not only is she warned twice, but she's then warned thrice. 3 times. 3 times, my spooky pickles. The damn bird says again, turn back, young maiden dear. This is the murder house. You enter here. Do you think she listens? Not even if it was a crow. Even if it was a magpie. I don't care if it was a pigeon telling me. I'd be legging it the other way very swiftly. And I don't run either. But I'd be running now. I'll tell you that. I'd be running like I did in Carver 30. If you don't know what I mean, you've watched the video. It's quite funny. It wasn't funny at the time. It's funny now because I'm alive. But I would be swiftly removing myself from said premises. You know what she does? She doesn't even stick around, even though it's dark and empty and no one's there to greet her. She goes for a wander. She wanders around, and all the rooms are empty and dark. So do you think she's like, oh, I'll call it a day. Maybe it's the wrong house, or maybe it's something dodgy going on. Maybe it's not my betrothed's house. Maybe there's been a mix-up. Either way, I wouldn't be staying to investigate like Nancy Drew. No. But she does. And I'm so disappointed when I have to say this. She spots a cellar. Does anything good ever happen in a dark, creepy house and you've been forewarned 3 times? And then you spot a cellar and you think, I'm just going to wander down it. Do you think anything good is going to happen henceforth? No, it's not. So she goes down the cellar steps. And that's dark and creepy and all, surprise, surprise. And she sees an old, decrepit woman. Not my words, the story's words. And the woman goes, oh, dear child, why have you entered here? This is not a safe place for you to be. You must leave immediately. But she realises the time she's like, oh, you're in danger. I need to hide you though because you haven't got time to go now. So this old woman, bless her, don't know what she's doing in the house. Maybe she's a hostage. Maybe. I don't know if she's tied into it. She doesn't seem a willing participant anyway. But she hides this girl behind a hogshead. So it says, it must be a pretty big one to hide a whole person, but she hides. And she says, don't move, don't even breathe loudly, don't make a sound, and pray to the Lord. You're not spotted. Now, I'm atheist, but I'd be like, I'd be praying to whatever God wanted to listen to me. And I'd be hiding. I'd be real fucking quiet. For once. So she hears some people entering, and then she sees like a group of bandits dragging a young maiden into the room. And they're clearly forcing her. She doesn't want to be there, but there's a group of guys, gets one young maiden, so like probably 16, 17-year-old, and they sort of force feed her wine and say, no, you need to drink this, and it's 3 different cups apparently, a glass of red, a glass of yellow, and a glass of white. I don't know what the yellow is. But they force feed her these 3 glasses of wine. And they tear off her clothes. And it said her heart is ripped in twain. Now, it doesn't say it. And I'm not sure if it's implying it, but it sort of unintentionally implies some essay going on. Really unpleasant. And then they chop her into pieces. And she's watching all this thinking, oh my God. And of course, among these people is her suitor, her betrothed. So why he'd planned for her to come on a Sunday and then commit this horrendous act on the Sunday when she's expected, and, it makes no sense, but he's clearly not the smartest bulb on the Christmas tree, is he, on the Christmas tree lights? Excuse me. So after they've killed this poor girl, one of the robbers sees a really pretty ring on one of her hands, and it won't come off because like she's clearly all swollen and battered and bruised. So they just hack her finger off, and they must do it so hard with like an axe or something. The finger goes flying with the ring on it. Can you guess where it's gonna land? Not even by her feet. Now I don't know how this happens. I'm assuming it was a male writer. The finger and the ring lands in her bosom. It says so, in between her boobs. She's got to not freak out at this, for obvious reasons. So they're like, oh, where did it go? And they're looking around, and the old hag woman says, oh, it's getting late. Look for it in the morning. Why don't you sit and have some food and a drink? And they're all like, yeah, it's time and work. Murdering this young lady. So they talked around by the old woman to have some food, and she feeds them a sleeping draught in with wine. So they go to sleep quicker. So then obviously once they're asleep and they're snoring, and she can hear the snoring, she, gets the young girl behind the hogshead and tells her to run. I don't know what happens to the old crow, and I don't know if she escapes with her or Right, she stays. Oh, this is important. I did forget because I got excited. So before she enters the dark forest on her way, she has an ominous feeling. And again, I don't know why she don't listen. But she takes some lentils and peas. Now, this is dried peas, not like bird's eye peas. Dried peas. And every few meters, she'll scatter a few, along the path of ashes. That's important. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. So she's already scattered these things. This has all happened. So the old woman's like, right, run, get away. And it's dark. She can't really see. And she can't see the ashes, but you know what she can see? She can see the lentils and the peas. And some of them, because apparently it's very quick, have started to sprout. So she follows the sprouts all the way home. So that's very clever. Luckily no birds have eaten them, because clearly the birds are on her side in the story. So she does manage to find her way home. And for some reason she doesn't tell her dad. She waits for the wedding day. And they're all celebrating, I assume, before the ceremony, because it doesn't say she actually married him, but just says the wedding day. And they're all like telling stories and having a drink. And the robber, groom, murderer says to the bride, "Oh, everyone's been telling stories. You tell me a story, my dear." And she's like, "Okay, yeah, I've got a story." Now, I had a very interesting dream last night. I walked into some very dark woods following ashes, but don't worry, dear, this was just a dream. It's just a dream. And I came across a very dark house and was told to run away, but don't worry, dear, this was just a dream. It's not real. And I walked around the house and I could find nobody. So I went into the cellar where I found an old lady. But don't worry, this is all just a dream. And she told me to hide, so I hid. And then to my surprise, my darling, don't worry, this was just a dream though. To my surprise, a group of bandits came in and murdered a young lady and ripped her heart in twain. And one of them was in such a rush to steal the ring on her finger, they cut a finger off her hand. And it landed in my bosom, but don't worry, darling, this was all just a dream, it's not real. And then she produces the finger and the ring in front of everyone. And all these mates that were part of this horrible situation. And everyone at the wedding party is like, "Oh my God." And do you think they let them get away with it? No, they don't. The wedding party turns pretty much into a mob and delivers swift justice, that's the words, to this mob of people. So they were soundly dealt with and could no longer hurt anyone else. And that's just literally how it finishes. Mob justice. But I think in this case, if you're a bunch of robbing, murderous, essaying thieves, I can't really disagree with that, to be honest. I can't see a problem with that. But yeah, I thought it's quite funny how she gets in, "Don't worry, it's just a dream, darling, don't worry, dear." And then she just produces the finger with a ring, which I don't know if I'd be brave enough to still be holding that finger with a ring on it, but it's a good way to make your point, I suppose. So yeah. Now, my thoughts on the story are, don't take people for the word. That people might look and seem and behave a certain way, but something will always tell you it's a bit off. Always trust your intuition and your gut. And she's a good example of people that don't listen to their intuition and guts, and she could have ended up in a really bad situation. She was in one. Luckily she didn't get caught because of the kindness of this old lady. But she didn't listen to 3 clear warnings, her own intuition on many occasions. But luckily she did listen to it once, with the peas and the lentils, and she dropped them. I think this is a story that's basically listen to your gut and your intuition, and be aware of people, because they can, like a wolf in sheep's clothing, they can appear one way and seem one way, and oh, they look respectable and well off, and they're very kind and gentlemanly, but they turn out to be something else. And obviously it's a very wild way to represent it, as in a murdering, cannibalistic, essaying group of bandits. Although it's not, not unheard of, but quite uncommon these days, I should hope. Not common at all. I think it was to make the point nice and clear. Just be aware. And people are tricky. And to trust your gut and listen to your intuition, and don't, just because something looks nice Don't assume it's nice. Yeah? Really make sure you've got a good idea of the person or people you surround yourself with. And yeah, always listen to your gut and take precautions. If you're not sure about something, like with the lentils and the peas, she weren't sure, so she took them as like a backup plan, and luckily she did. So I always have like a safety plan. But yeah, I think it sort of represented like a loss of innocence in many ways. And yeah, just listening to yourself and being brave and speaking up for yourself after something may have happened, or you feel the same way and you think, I'm not sure, should I say something? Yes, you should. You should say something. You should do something. Always follow your gut. Always follow your instincts. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. It was very dark. I did warn you, it was quite a dark one. But very important. Very important. Like I said, trust yourself. Always have a backup plan. Always be aware of who you're inviting into your life, or who is in your inner circle, or who you associate with. So I think those are the main points of the story. It was only actually like 2.5 pages long in the book. I managed to make this a 20-minute video. I told you it'd happen. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed it. If I find out who the author is, I'll edit it in some notes somewhere. I have tried to find, I'll keep trying because I want to know. Because I want to know if there's any more tales, because it's quite dark, but an important message. And I like the fact that there was a talking bird in it, and the bird seemed wiser than her at some points. So yeah, I think it was probably a crow. Crows are quite smart. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, my spooky pickles. I hope you all enjoyed. Next time the video should be a bit more stable. And enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you all soon.